Previously on NinjaGo. With Lloyd's golden power coursing through Crypt Door, Pythor speeds up production on project codenamed Arcturus, a rocket that will travel into the stars. Jay and Nia have an argument about the status of their relationship but are unable to finish as Kai is captured by the Nindroid forces. The ninja rush in to save him but are unable to stop the rocket launch. Luckily, Zane and PIXAL were able to stow away on board. The Void. The Arcturus rocket breaks through the upper atmosphere and enters space itself. Through a porthole in the cargo hold of the ship, Zane and PIXAL stare out into space.
We're in space.
The mega weapon was fired into the stars, so that's where we must be heading to retrieve what's left of the golden weapons.
I have seen pictures of space in my databanks, yet the real thing is so much more beautiful.
In my experience, pictures and files never compare to the real thing. Zane takes PIXAL's hand as the rocket continues to travel to its destination. Back in NinjaGo, the Ninja, Wu, and Garmadon have returned to Borg Tower and are trying to get comms equipment set up to try and contact Zane and PIXAL. Nia and Jay work on disconnecting the cybernetics from Borg, who they've managed to rescue during the Nindroid retreat from Ouroboros. Jay tries fiddling with some wires to get Borg back to normal.
No, Jay, not those. Those wires go directly to his nervous system. You could kill him if you cut those.
My mistake. I forgot you're the expert on wires. Maybe we should switch jobs and you should handle this yourself.
Fine, Lightning Boy. You deal with the batteries. I'll deal with the wires.
Kai and Cole notice the exchange from across the room. Are they alright? This is very unlike them. I make a habit just to stay out of it. You should probably do the same. Good idea. Lloyd plugs the computer into the power outlet as Wu and Garmadon spread star maps out across the table. We need to figure out where they're going exactly based on the trajectory of where they were launched from. It has to be somewhat close by. From what we heard about Crypt Door's condition, he won't be able to survive much longer without the golden weapons to channel the energy through. Dad? Master Wu? Lloyd turns to a TV report talking about a comet that's making its yearly pass by NinjaGo. In space, we can see that the rocket is heading straight for said comet. PIXAL and Zane notice from their vantage point in the cargo hold.
Our destination appears to be this comet.
The Delta V comet. It was in NinjaGo's orbit when we defeated the Skulkin and Garmadon in the underworld. When we traveled back in time to destroy the mega weapon, it must have landed on it after being shot into space. Yet, there's something else.
What?
I don't know. I can't explain it. Just a weird feeling. The comet is reflected in Zane's eye, and suddenly a quick succession of memories flash on screen. Zane is startled, and his movement causes him to float backwards.
What happened? Are you all right?
I'm fine, but I remembered something I hadn't ever remembered before. Something my memory switch didn't trigger.
What was it?
I don't know. It was vague and just flashes, but it has something to do with this comet. The rocket travels through space toward the comet, ditching the booster engines in the process. Back in NinjaGo, Borg is back to normal and out of his robotic getup. Can you tell us anything about what they're planning? I'm afraid not. There's a complete mental block when I'm like I'm asleep. It's okay, Borg. Go home and get some rest. We'll take it from here. Thank you. Borg wheels himself out of the office to leave the building. The Ninja man different stations trying to get a comm signal locked onto Zane and PIXAL. Back in space, the rocket has found its way to the comet and is coming in for a landing. The hatch to the cargo hold opens and Nindroid leads the Nindroids down the ramp. They use lunar rovers to haul heavy machinery away from the rocket and towards their intended dig site. Zane and PIXAL have donned spare Nindroid garb to blend in, but stick to the back so they aren't noticed. They take in their surroundings.
This is one small step for Nindroids, one giant leap for NinjaGo.
PIXAL smiles through her mask at Zane, but the Master of Ice is too busy staring at the crystalline structure that makes up the comet's surface. Zane approaches it. At the front of the Nindroid lines, the route is blocked, so Nindroid orders a firing line to clear a path. The Nindroids fire laser blasts at the blockage, but the crystal absorbs the energy and explodes in spectacular fashion, giving off a huge amount of energy. The visual will remind the audience of when Zane overloaded his power core several episodes prior to escape the magnet at Edna's junkyard. Zane notices the explosion combined with the crystals in front of him, and he gasps as a new memory is unlocked. The scene fades to white, and when we come back, we're in the snowy forest. The robot guardian from TikTok is keeping watch, and Zane has an axe in his hand. Dr. Julian calls for Zane, breaking him out of a trance. Zane, forget about chopping the rest of the wood. The storm will be here any minute, and we need to gather what we can and head indoors. Of course, Father. Zane begins to grab a bag of chopped wood when the falcon flies in, chirping excitedly. What is it, little friend? The falcon chirps again and flies off, Zane following. Dr. Julian calls for Zane to stop, but he keeps running. The falcon lands on Zane's shoulder, and Zane sees what's got the robotic bird so excited. A cloaked figure with a staff makes its way through the forest, wind blowing his cloak back. Zane stares at the new arrival as the memory fades to return back to present day. Pixel is shaking Zane, trying to get his attention.
Zane, can you hear me?
What? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I became distracted.
The Nindroids are moving on. We need to follow them. Nindroid has the launch key to the ship. We get that, we can leave them and the golden weapons here.
Of course, I'm right behind you. Zane follows Pixel, but he's obviously lost in thought. Back in NinjaGo at Borg Mission Control, Wu looks over the makeshift comm center that's been set up. Any luck? Sorry, Master, we found their comm channel, but we can't talk to Zane or Pixel without alerting the Nindroids. Then all we can do is wait. The door shuts behind Jay and Nia as they excuse themselves from the room, obviously not able to do much to help at the moment.
Okay, what gives, Jay?
What, I can't be mad that our relationship is falling to pieces?
It's not falling to pieces, and even if it was, that doesn't give you an excuse to be a jerk.
You're right, I'm sorry. I just want to make this work.
I do too, Jay.
But I don't know if I can trust you.
Trust me? How could you not trust me?
The black wire, Nia, the black wire!
What about it? It's a wire. Do you know how stupid it sounds for you to get upset about a wire?
Of course it isn't just a wire, Nia. It's symbolism.
So what? Just because I didn't randomly choose the blue wire means I don't like you anymore? Would you rather me cut the blue one and you and Cole be crushed?
Yes!
What? That's ridiculous.
Oh, so I'm ridiculous now, am I?
Jay, ever since we've met, you've always been ridiculous. It's one of the things I liked about you. But if you doubt me over something as trivial as a wire, then maybe we shouldn't be dating anymore.
Fine, then maybe we shouldn't. They both stop the argument to realize what's just happened. Neither of them want it, but in the heat of the moment, maybe it's the best thing for them right now. They both gather their resolve and put on brave faces.
Okay, so that's that then.
I guess it is. Jay walks back into Borg's office, and once the door is good and shut, Nia slumps against the wall in defeat. Back in space on the comet, the Nindroids are making slow progress towards the dig site. They're forced to cut through the crystals in their way instead of blasting them to prevent another power feedback explosion like earlier. Zane and Pixel patiently wait at the back of the forces, observing.
The energy readings from these crystals are somehow familiar. It's as if we've encountered them before, but on a much smaller scale. Where in NinjaGo we might have, I am unsure of.
Pixel, I think I know. Zane fades back into another memory, this one set in the tree home of Dr. Julian. The stranger has removed his hood and is sitting in a chair, coughing as Dr. Julian prepares dinner. You shouldn't have been out in that storm in your condition, friend. It came out of nowhere, though, didn't it? The stranger coughs some more. I have some herbs I can add to the soup to help with that cough. Let me fetch them. Dr. Julian walks through a door into another room. The stranger coughs again, slumping over in his seat. Zane rushes to help him up. Thank you, young man. It's no problem. I am programmed to help. Programmed? In response, Zane pops his casing open to reveal his insides. Your father is quite the craftsman. What powers you? A rechargeable battery. I plug in every night to recharge while he sleeps. I see. You must be the first of your kind, my boy. Why did your father build you? I don't know. To help others, I suppose. A good answer. The stranger begins another coughing fit, leading to a crystal falling out of his cloak. Zane picks it up. What is this? A crystal from a comet that circles NinjaGo once every year. It came crashing down once during the Serpentine Wars, and I've kept it ever since. You fought in the Serpentine Wars? Oh yes, in many, many battles. That must have been very exciting. Yes, I suppose it was, but that's not why anyone should fight. Of course not. Those that harm others are cowards who only care for themselves. If one must fight, it should be in the service of others. Well said. Zane, I want you to do something for me. What is that? I fear that I'm not going to be around for much longer. The years of fighting for others has caught up with me, and I don't have anyone to carry on my legacy, let's say. If the day comes that NinjaGo would need you, would you fight for it? Of course, I'll do whatever I can, although I'm not sure how useful I'd be. I think I can help with that. This crystal, it does a lot more than look pretty. I bet if we replaced your battery with it, you'd be able to do a lot of good. Will you accept it and the task that comes with it? I will. Thank you. Zane pops open his casing again. They quickly switch out Zane's battery for the crystal, his new power source. Zane's eyes flash blue, and in the moment before he completely reboots, the stranger waves his hand over the crystal, snowflakes embedding themselves to it. Zane blinks at the stranger, not recognizing him. Hello, who are you?
Just an old man passing through. Your father went to get me some medicine.
Strange, I seem to have encountered a brief memory glitch. Dr. Julian finally returns to the room.
I finally found those herbs I was talking about. They'll help with your cough, no problem.
We fade back into the comet in present day. Zane's memory is at last at 100% capacity. Everything about his past he can now remember.
What is it, Zane?
This comet, it's where our power comes from.
Of course. Your heart is unlike anything from NinjaGo because it isn't from NinjaGo.
Just as the Nindroid couple makes his discovery, the Nindroids cut through the last of the crystals blocking their path and find the melted down golden weapons waiting for them to be picked up. Mindroid points and the Nindroids get to work. The golden ball of energy is loaded up on the rocket, and the Nindroids prepare for liftoff. However, Zane and PIXAL cut off a piece of the comet and place it near the rockets. They board the rocket and it takes off for NinjaGo. Back on the ground, Cole's walking back from a trip to the restroom and he hears sniffling. He pokes his head into a conference room, finding Nia crying. Nia? What's wrong? Nia quickly wipes away her tears.
Nothing's wrong.
Cole stares her down, not believing her. Not being able to keep up the facade, she breaks down again.
Jay and I broke up, okay? He didn't trust me after I cut a black wire at the scrapyard.
What? That's it?
Well, I wasn't entirely happy anyway. No one took me seriously anymore, so this is a good thing. I'm okay.
Then why are you crying?
Because even after everything, I still liked him.
Look, I've known Jay for a while now, and he's crazy about you. I'm sure you guys will make up eventually. Trust me.
Thanks, Cole.
Nia hugs Cole, and the Master of Earth hugs back, not really knowing what else to do. At the exact wrong moment, however, Jay walks in looking for Cole. I knew it! You were trying to steal Nia from me!
No, Jay, that's not...
Me? Steal Nia? Are you crazy? Why would I do that? I would never do that! Then what was that? A hug. She was upset and she hugged me. Is that such a big deal? Of course it is. If you were my friend, you wouldn't have accepted it. Well, if you were my friend, you wouldn't accuse me of trying to steal your girlfriend because you'd know better. Admit it, you've always liked Nia. I have not, but I'm starting to think that she could do a lot better than you. And who would that be? You? Maybe? Kai runs in, interrupting the argument. Guys, we've got communication with Zane and PIXAL back up. The group forget about their argument and run into Borg's office. Zane and PIXAL can be seen on screen as another tracks the rocket. It's clear the rocket is crashing. We were unable to grab the launch key back from Nindroid and leave the golden weapons behind, so we used the unstable nature of the comet crystals to blow the engines on re-entry.
Based on our current trajectory, I calculate we'll land somewhere between the desert and the toxic bogs.
We'll leave immediately to meet you there. The rocket flies through the air toward the ground and the Nindroids inside are panicking. Pythor's face appears on his screen. What's going on? Mindroid beeps and boops at the Anacondrae. We can't afford to let the ninja get the golden weapons before we do. Execute contingency plan 33 and meet us at the objective. Mindroid salutes and the Nindroids head for the cargo hold where the golden weapons are. They grab the nets surrounding the golden weapons and open the cargo bay doors. Zane and PIXAL present themselves out of their disguises and try to stop them, but the Nindroids take flight and abandon the crashing shuttle. They fly off through the air, carrying the golden weapons with them in the net. Zane and PIXAL rush to the bridge and try to control their landing, but it's no use. The ship crashes into the desert. The two Nindroids stumble out of the crash just as the ninjas show up. They failed, but have survived to fight the good fight more determined than ever. So, this episode is almost completely different in every way, shape, and form. When this episode first aired, it hands down became my least favorite episode aside from Wrong Place, Wrong Time, partially because this episode even happens because of that episode. I felt that going to space was NinjaGo jumping the shark, and even today I still think that somewhat, but that's mainly of how over the top a lot of this episode is, and I don't particularly care for that. I feel like the official episode is one of those episodes you really have to turn off your brain to enjoy and think like a kid because there's so much involved with the space battles I can't accept. That's more of a me problem though. I still like the idea of them going to space, but I had to tie it into the story of the season more than just needing to retrieve the remains of the golden weapons, which could have easily just landed somewhere in NinjaGo's ocean and the official episode could have still played out almost entirely the same. In order to do this, I gave more insight into Zane's backstory building onto TikTok and answering the question about what powers Zane, something the actual season failed to do. In my version, Zane's power source is a piece of the comet, which reacts negatively to large amounts of energy since it's already a great power source. I also answered the question of how Zane got this power source. Pixel poses the question in an earlier episode that Dr. Julian built Zane out of these spare parts, yet he runs on one of the most efficient power sources in all of NinjaGo. Where did he get this? Turns out he never knew it existed. In Sons of Garmadon, we learned that the original Master Vise visited Zane and presumably passed on his elemental powers to him, seeing as how Julian notes Zane starts acting differently after their visit by the stranger the night before. Here we get to see it, helping to answer the question about the power source and where it came from. This is one of those big nerd moments that I hope everyone enjoys as fan service and a logical explanation. Another thing I unfortunately had to do this episode was develop the story between Jay and Nia and Cole. Jay and Nia finished their discussion from last episode and break up. Obviously, they're not happy about it, but they've come to a head and there's no other logical progression for their relationship at this time. If I could, I would have left it there. But unfortunately, Turn a Bit of Elements deals with the aftermath of this love triangle some more, so I had to create a wedge between Jay and Cole. I've said before that Cole would never try and steal Nia from Jay, and that his actions in the official season are way out of character. Here we see him unfortunately become wrapped up in their argument and ends up being the target of abuse from Jay, and he does nothing but defend himself. During this, we get a slight hint that maybe he could potentially have had some sort of feelings for Nia, but because he's Cole, ignored them so he could let Jay and Nia be happy. This helps keep to the canonicity of Tournament of Elements and how everything plays out there. I'm not 100% happy with the way it turned out, but I've never been a fan of this part of the story, and even then, I think this was handled much better than the actual show. Please tell me what you think of this and if I did a good job or not, given what had to be done to keep to canon. There's other stuff I could talk about, but that's going to have other stuff to do with the next episode, so I'll leave it for then. Next time, the Titanium Ninja.